All right. Out here in the saloon. Got the oil lamps burning. Got my deep cycle battery with my power inverter up there. See if we get anybody to show up. Currently, there is no one. Oh, now there's three. Hi, everybody. Just kind of a dry run on a live stream, sort of, from out here in the saloon. I got three people watching. Don't know who you are. If you'd say something. There's Stephen Sheets. How you doing, Stephen? All right. Can you hear me okay? That's probably a no, huh? Thomas from Michigan. How you doing, Thomas? Glad to have you here. This is kind of a dry run for me. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm not saying anything right this second, but don't know if my audio's going through all right, though. I cannot see. Let me try again. Yeah, I guess it's going through. The microphone thing there is saying it is. So it must be going through. And nobody's watching now. And I got the two back. 64 Samsky. I'm here from Florida. I hear you loud and clear. Good. Nice to know the audio is working. Glad you're live streaming and I can hear you. This is my first time live streaming. I was a guest on Arizona Ghost Riders channel. And I thought it was a pretty neat concept. I figured I'd give it a try from out here in the saloon. Had a little cable issue, though, earlier, and had to do some repairs to it. A little drink tonight, so no gun shooting tonight. I do have tracers, though. I could shoot them out there. Not after the drinking, though. So anybody want to pick a topic or ask a question or something? I am not prepared for this, really. Just kind of a off-the-cuff type thing. If you guys have watched many of my videos, you've seen the saloon here. I am out here. It is dark out. It's 9:17 here in Ohio, and it's the sun just went down a few minutes ago. I tried to do this a little bit earlier, but had some issues. Absolutely, bourbon. Little Jefferson's very small batch. Just sipping on it a little bit. And somebody's doing some shooting off in the distance. That's the nice thing about being out here in the country is if you don't hear gunfire, it's usually an issue. $17.92. Unfortunately, this one's empty. Thank you, Thomas. I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoy doing the channel, and like to keep on doing it too. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work sometimes, though. You don't usually come out here too much at night, and most of the reason why is because mosquitoes are pretty bad out here. So are you guys, see, 64 Samsky and Thomas, are you guys both new to firearms? Are you been around them for a while, or what's the story? What do you like? Pistols, long guns, shotguns? I pretty much like them all. I like the new guns, the old guns, American-made guns, foreign-made guns. A lot of them are pretty neat. Got 4 people on there now. So what firearms would you like to see next? That's one of the biggest problems I have, is figuring out what I'm going to do next. I've got a few guns already that I have not reviewed yet, and I need to get off my lazy rear end and go do it, but it's kind of tough. Still work full time. Got the evenings and weekends sometimes to do things. All right, got 8 viewers on here now. It's kind of a, well, like the title says, it's an impromptu live stream. Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any answers? I will try to do them as much as I can. Hopefully I'll get bombarded with so many that I can't keep up, but you never know. Light's a little dim out here at nighttime. If I can swivel this around without jerking it around too much. Recommend another 22 pistol with a brace. I currently have a Ruger Charger and a Tippmann Elite. Looked at the Vector, but I have that in rifle form. I like the Vector. I'd like to try it in the larger calibers. I've seen them. I've held them. Have not bought one. They're a little pricey. The 22 Vector I did a review on. It was a loaner gun, and it's cool. I like the way it shoots. I'd really like to try with the larger calibers to see how that recoil is handled with that bolt curving like it does. Jim, what caliber Vector do you have? Thomas, just an 17 HMR now. That is my favorite caliber. All the 17s, the HM2, the HMR, the Hornet, the WSM. I was looking online today to see if I couldn't find a 17 Remington and a 17 Fireball and a 17 Mach 4, and that'll complete the whole family there. How accurate is Mr. Let's see, let me put that up there, see how this works. How accurate is that Heritage carbine? Really, it's pretty accurate. I have not filed the sights or anything because I like shooting shorts. I like shooting long rifles, but you've got one chance to kind of if you've got to file that front sight down, you only got one chance to get it right. You want to do it with the ammo that you're going to use consistently. But other than that, 16-inch barrel on it's pretty accurate. It's pretty much a rifle. I've got both the pistol and the carbine. I like it. It's pretty accurate. Have I done the Keltec? Have I done the Keltec CP33? No, I have not. I've looked at them a couple times. I really, I don't like the looks of them. And unfortunately, I don't get a lot of the guns that people request. I don't get them all loaned to me. I've got nobody helping me out with this other than friends that have firearms. So usually when I do a gun, I'm buying that gun myself. I don't get any discounts or anything. But that one is one of those ones that, I don't know, 33 rounds. I've got the CMR 30. I want to get the PMR 30, which hold 30 rounds of 22 Magnum, and that's pretty cool. It's a neat looking gun. It's kind of odd because it's real long at the back of the pistol grip that comes over there. It's kind of a neat looking gun. If I can get my hands on one, I will do one. Let's see. Jimmy says at 77, I got back to my childhood and I'm stocking up on 22 long rifles. It's got to be the most fun caliber there is. It's inexpensive, and they're just fun to shoot. And if you're not going for any really, really long range, no 200 or 300 yard shots, that's the perfect fun gun. Whether it's a pistol or rifle, whatever, they're just a lot of fun. I love 22 long rifle, and I love the ones that you can shoot shorts and longs in too. They're also a lot of fun. Not that you see a lot of longs out there, 22 longs. I do have a box of them. I kind of want to do a review on the differences in the 22 short, long, and long rifle. A lot of people have never heard of longs. They just heard of 22 long rifle. Okay, Jim, you said put it up there. The Vector is a 22 long rifle, and it is the rifle version of it, right? '64 Samsky has a Kel-Tec Sub 2000. It's a hoot to shoot. I agree. I have the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 with the Smith & Wesson M&P magazines because my goal was to get a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. So I've got both of them now. I really need to redo that video on the Sub 2000. That was my first or second review I did, and I've learned a lot since then. Hopefully I could do a better review on it. It is a fun gun. It really is. Looking for the PMR 30 myself, but all sold out around here. I did get a CMR 30 and love shooting it. Also impressed with the P17. I do like the P17. I love my CMR 30, especially when you put the correct ammo in it. If you don't put 40 grains in there, they just don't shoot that well. 50 grains does really well too. All the way from New Zealand. Glad to have you on here. It's I have several subscribers from New Zealand and stuff. You guys can still own some calibers, can't you? Or not any calibers? I can't remember. Let's see. I'd like to review on the Winchester Wildcat 22 for my grandson. That might be the one I get. Really, I was kind of worried about that being a plastic receiver on it, but I've only fired about 800 rounds through it, but I see absolutely no wear on it. And I think they did a good job designing that. I love being able to take it apart to clean without any tools. I do not like all the little parts in there you've got to clean. But it's a fun gun. I really need to take it out and run a couple thousand more through it. Let's see. Boomstick, how's the thoughts on the Ruger 5.7? It's the first time I fired a 5.7 was the Ruger. I loved it. It's a good feeling gun, full-size gun, and really soft shooting. Not near the recoil you get from a 9mm. It's a nice gun. It shoots well. It does sling the cases out there. I don't know. That might be one that you might want to get into reloading on if you were to get one, just because the ammo is pretty expensive, and about the only company that carries it is FN. There are a couple other ones out there, but it's a good shooting gun. I like it. Oh, I already did that one. Let's see. What 22 pistol would be a good first? If you're looking for a revolver, I would suggest probably the Heritage revolvers. They're really they're very inexpensive. They're made pretty good. They're not bad. You can certainly spend a lot more on a higher quality one, but I find it tough to spend $500-600 on a 22 revolver. As for a semi-auto, the P17 is really expensive from Kel-Tec. That's a fun one. The Ruger SR22, I absolutely love that gun, and I have fired a lot of rounds through that thing, and it shoots great. If you've got big hands, though, you're going to get that hammer's going to come back and tap you on the back of the hand there. It does mine, tore it up pretty bad. But not painful. It's just a repeated, and I was doing a lot of firing. I fired 500-600 rounds that day, and by the end of the day, without stopping, it tore a little spot on the back of my hand. But not a big deal, but I got pretty big hands, and I had a pretty tight depth grip on it. Let's see, Jim E. Let's see, it just picked up the CP33 2 weeks ago. It's a lot of fun, but right out of the box, it would not load the first round no matter what I did. I found there are a lot of guns, and I've watched a lot of videos people talk about. Usually it's the second round for some reason doesn't want to feed right. Sometimes they just need broke in. That's kind of a weird gun because it's got a quad stack magazine, and it's like 2 double stacks on the side, isn't it? Pretty sure it is. Excuse me. Let's see. Most calibers we can shoot. Cool. It's nice to be able to do that, especially. I mean, we can shoot everything up to 50 cal without any kind of special permissions, I guess. Let's see. After hand feeding in the chamber, the rest all go bang like they should. It's on its way back to Kel-Tec. Yes, my Vector is rifle form. Cool. I do want to get a rifle, Vector rifle, but I want to get a 45 caliber. Monitor Lizard, good night. Keep up the good work. I enjoy reviews. Thank you very much for stopping by. I enjoyed it. Hello from Nevada. Hello, Darcy. Nice to have you on here. Squibload. Hey, Scar. Hey, Squib. How you doing? '64 Samsky. Yep, I agree too. Another nice revolver, I think, is the Chiappa revolver 1873. That's a good single action revolver. Probably just right around the same price as the Heritage. The one I've got's got a pretty big cylinder gap between the forcing cone and the cylinder, but it shoots great. And for about the same price you'll pay for a Heritage Rough Rider with just the 22 long rifle cylinder, you should be able to get the Chiappa for about the same price with both cylinders, the 22 and the 22 Magnum. Let's see. Winchester Wildcat, don't care for the trigger, just minors. No, my trigger's it's not the best. It's probably a little spongy, and yeah, there are better triggers out there. I really need to try for a semi-auto 22, I need to get a Savage A22. I don't know if they have an AccuTrigger on it, but Savage is known to have some really good triggers in them. Really good triggers. The Taurus TX22 is a fantastic choice. Yes, it is. I like that gun too. They're really lightweight. They feel kind of cheap, but they function fantastic. They're extremely lightweight. Of course, the 22 doesn't need to be real heavy, and that is a really good shooting gun. I picked up a couple extra magazines for mine because I like shooting it so much. Squib says, "What's the topic tonight?" You bring it up. I'm happy to talk about it. I really didn't have a topic. It was just kind of a, hey, I want to try to do a live stream tonight. Figured I'd give it a shot. Got anything you want to talk about? Have to agree with the TX22. I swore off Taurus after 3 of them, but the TX22 is an exception. My favorite semi-auto is my Victory. Yeah, the Victory is cool. It is nice. Taurus, I have never shot a Taurus that had any problems. It doesn't mean that they don't have problems. It's just all the ones that I have shot have not had any problems, except for my Spectrum. And that really upsets me because I like the feel of that gun. It fits your hand perfect. Even with big hands, it fits all right. You can slip it right in your pocket. Everything is smooth on it, and it shoots great. It extracts terribly. That's the problem I've had with mine. Another guy I subscribe to, Kentucky Hillbilly, he's had the Taurus Spectrum, and he had a lot of problems with it, and he finally sent it back to Taurus, and it took many months for him to get it back, but when he got it back, he shot a bunch of rounds through it, and he said it has functioned flawlessly. And I really need to send mine back. I'm just too lazy to send it back, I guess. '64 Samsky said, I have a few 22 rifles and pistols. My absolute favorite is the Ruger Mark II. How do you like taking it apart and cleaning it? I've never heard anybody say they like the 1, 2s, or 3s to take them apart and clean them. I think my Ruger SR22 is my favorite pistol. I have a Smith & Wesson Victory. I like it. I don't like having to have the wrench to tear it apart. Of course, a lot of guns, especially 22s, you have to have tools. Pistols, not so much. The SR22, you can tear it down with no tools. The Victory, you have to have the tools. It shoots well. It's a good gun, but it's the only thing I don't like about it is the tools. Let me see. What else did you say? Rifles. I think my favorite 22 rifle has got to be my Winchester 67A. It's an old 60s model. It's pre-serial number. So I think it's before 67 or 64. I can't remember. Single shot. And it's a little wore out. I bought it used. It's a little wore out, but that thing shoots fantastic. It's got a 28-inch barrel on it, I think. Super long barrel. Shoots fantastic. Shane says, are you happy with your Howa? Yeah, so far. I've only run probably the last video I did where I did the long-range shooting, 500 yards long-range shooting. I only run 8 rounds through it. I hit the target 4 times, which was pretty nice. And I would like to be a long-range shooter. I've not done very much long-range shooting. And so far, it seems to do very, very well. I do want to take it out this weekend and sight it in at 200 yards. Not that it's going to make a lot of difference it's not going to change anything other than my hold points on it. But I'm hoping that sighting it in at 200 yards will get me a little closer to where I need to be lined up with it. When I sighted it in at 100 yards out here on the range, it was not the best grouping, but I think a lot of that is me. I took my little Rossi RB17 out yesterday and did some shooting with it, and found that if I really slow down and take my time, I was able to get some less than ½ inch, maybe 3/8 inch groupings out of it. I fired 25 rounds to it yesterday. It was just to go out and have some fun, no filming or anything, but I really have to slow myself down and concentrate on it and keep the wiggle out of it, and it does great. So I'm thinking with the Howa, I can probably do the same thing. But yes, I am happy with the Howa. Hey, Logan, nice to have you on here. It's easy once you get the hang of it. I hope you're talking about the long range shooting. Yeah, I think it would be. I think it's more relaxing because you have to kind of get yourself into a relaxed mood, and I think it's going to be pretty enjoyable. Send me an email if I want a pen list. I will check it out. Let's see. Jim E says, my best 22 revolver is the Smith & Wesson 617. Kind of overkill, but in like a 686 and 22 format. Yeah. My best 22 long rifle overall is a 1954 Colt Match Target. Have I ever seen? Have I ever seen you use a can on a 22? No, the only cans I've used on a firearm would be a soda can. But I have been looking at them. I keep on waiting for that uh, NFA ruling to pass, where they shorten the time down to 90 days or less. But if I would have just went ahead and done it in the first place, I would have had one many years ago. Um, and I find it hard to pay that much money for a can that is just a tube with some baffles in it, and most of the time costs more than the guns I'm going to put it on. The nice thing is I can switch it from one firearm to the other depending on the caliber of it. But I want to get something that'll shoot everything from 17 HMR, at least a 22 Magnum. Then I want to get a bigger one for the Howa. The bad part is when you look at a can for a 6.5 Creedmoor, you're looking at $6,000, $8,000, $1,200. That's a lot of money. I mean, when you get up to that point, it's more than I paid for the rifle. And that's a pretty good rifle, I think. Talking about the Mark II. Talking about taking it apart and cleaning it. I've heard that too. I've heard there's some kind of tool that you can get that helps ease the pain of disassembly and reassembly of it. I've heard lots of stories about people taking them apart to clean them and taking them to a gunsmith they haven't put together. So I have not messed with them, but I would like to get the 1, 2, 3, and the 4. Of course, the 4, just having the one button on the back, open it up and taking care of it. Shane, making me jealous talking about handguns. Shane, you live are you in Australia? New Zealand? I can't remember where you're at. Handguns are a lot of fun, though. I'm sorry you can't have one. But I think, Shane, if I'm not mistaken, you can get a suppressor really easy for rifles that you can shoot, can't you? Australia. Oh, you guys cannot have guns. Is that correct? Can't quite remember. Yeah, the one with the stainless and the shaved sides, the slab side barrel on it. Yep, I looked at those when the Mark IV came out, and I saw one of those in a shop, and I thought, man, that's a beautiful gun. But I want to say it was around the $600 or $700 mark. They get a little pricey, but I've never heard anything bad about them other than the 1, 2s, and 3 takedown of them. Yeah, that's I've talked to people in a bunch of different countries, and I can never remember. I have a hard enough time remembering all the laws in this country. But I know there are some countries where you can have suppressors. You go in and buy it just like you would any other firearm. Shane, I'm sorry, but you can come to the United States if you want. Maybe not right at this moment, but you can come over here and enjoy a little firearms fun. Let's see. Jonas Berry, curious about the availability of 10-round magazines for different brands. I'm just asking for your general knowledge. I'm almost 21, so soon I'll be able to purchase a firearm. I live in California. California has its own set of laws, too. Depending on the brand, I mean, you can even buy guns like the TX22, I think. I can't remember how many rounds are in that magazine. But most of the manufacturers will make a California compliant firearm too, with a magazine that's limited to 10 rounds in it. So they are looking out for you guys too. There's a lot of customers there that like firearms, and it makes me sad to know that they limit things like that. California. Heard that term a lot, and there's a couple other ones too. New York, New Jersey. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, there was somebody that this guy had a Queen Anne flintlock pistol in his car, got pulled over and got in a lot of trouble about it. Then there was somebody else that had I think it was a shotgun shell on the dash of his vehicle and got in trouble for that too. There are times when I think when I get pulled over, sometimes the cop's going to say, you have a firearm on you, and I'm going to have to think, how many do I have on me? I don't know if you've seen that little, there's a little video that's circulating online there. The guy gets pulled over and the cop says, do you have any guns? He starts pulling them out, showing them all these, opens up the back of his truck and does, I'm not quite that bad. I wish I was, but that, I kind of think of that video whenever I see a cop though. So I left Maryland 2 years ago. You know, there are people who move from one state to the other because of things like that. I grew up in Florida, and I was down there a couple of years ago, and it was shortly after the Parkland shooting, and things had changed so much then that I just didn't feel like, I mean, I got to see a lot of my friends and stuff that I grew up with, and that made me feel nice. But when I got to hearing all the laws, it just didn't feel like home anymore. So things have changed a lot in different states, and they keep trying to change them all the time too. Now, I don't do too much politics on my channel. I try not to do too much politics here either. There's a lot of people have a lot of different thoughts on different things, and whoops, I don't want to anger anybody if we've got a difference of opinion, and sometimes people are like that, but it doesn't bother me. Shane says they're even in the middle of banning gel blasters now because they look bad. Is that paintball guns? I would imagine. You have some of those, or even the airsoft. Some of those are, I mean, they are modeled exactly on the same. I mean, they're exact copies of the real thing. In fact, there are companies out there that make accessories for airsoft guns that do fit on AR-15s. One company, I can't remember the name of it, but they make hand guards for the front of them, and they fit either one. So, I mean, they're patterned like the real deal. Don't mind the disassembly of the Ruger Mark 1, 2, or 3. The 3 being the worst, really. Magazine safety, but the Mark 4 is a sweet. I have taken them apart in the store and just loved it. I've always heard bad things about the 1, 2, or 3, but I will get all 4 of them. I want all 4. I would like to get all 4 of them in the same style, just so there's a little more even comparison. I don't want to get the little tapered barrel on the 1 and the slab side on the 3 or 4, whatever, the fluted. I want to get all 4 of them the same model, I guess. Something like that. Good here in Florida as opposed to Maryland. Yeah, I got to agree with that. It's a lot better. When I was down there, being out of state, I can buy a long gun, and I was down there and I wanted to do some cowboy action shooting, and it took me 8 days to buy a shotgun because I went in on a Friday. They don't count the weekends, and the Monday was a holiday. And then it was Hillsborough County, so there was a 5-day wait there for non-Florida residents. Kids' toys. Yep. Squidload. Heard about the Maryland gun laws from Kingpin. He's there fighting for Maryland rights. Good, good. Boomstick, did they make a Ruger Mark 1 with the stainless slab side barrel on it? You obviously, I can tell from the comments there, you've got to be a Ruger Mark professional. You're the only person I've never heard complain about the takedown or disassembly or cleaning or anything of the Mark series pistols. Jim Casal, how do you like the CZ 512 22 Magnum semi-auto? I don't know. I've never fired one. Did not know it existed. I will have to check that one out. What did I do? I just did the CZ Shadow, and that gun, 9mm, absolutely loved it. It's a fantastic gun. It is a loner though, but love the way it shoots, love the way it feels. I love a steel frame pistol. I like 1911s. Yeah, I'm one of those old guys that likes those. And really the CZ Shadow is that style of gun. Heavy, steel, all metal, nice feeling gun. So I'll have to check out I like 22 Magnums too. That's quickly becoming one of my favorite firearms there. So I'll have to check it out. Have I shot a Ruger #1 in any caliber? I have not. And I think with the Ruger #1 you're talking about, I think it's the pistol, the really single shot pistol with the really long barrel on it, if I'm not mistaken. I looked at a couple of those today. I seen one of them chambered in, I think it was either 17 Remington or 17 Fireball. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I think with the 17 caliber, I would like to stick at least with the 17 Hornet and up, being the Hornet, the Fireball, the Remington, the Mach 4. I would like to have those in rifles. But I have been looking at a couple of the 17 caliber revolvers, just because there's a lot of times I'm out on my lawnmower or out of my tractor or something, and I see a groundhog somewhere, and I think I don't have anything with me to get this guy with. So I'd like to check out a 17 caliber revolver. Rifles, a Ruger #1. No, I have not shot one. Trust me, there's a lot of them I'd like to get. But like I said, nobody helps me out with this. This is, other than some friends that loan me firearms at different times. This is this venture is all my own. Most of the factories, the manufacturers won't even talk to me about things. Heritage did give me a little push, I guess, on their webpage on Facebook when they promoted my video on there for doing the Heritage revolving carbine, which I thought was pretty cool. But that's the most help I've got from any of the manufacturers or anything. Let's see. Can you tell me anything about the Chris DMK-22? Is that the Vector? No, that's not the Vector. I cannot. I'm sorry. I wish I could. Hopefully one day I'll be able to. Have I ever used a Sauer rifle? Been thinking of getting one 7mm Remington Magnum. I have not. But 7mm Remington Magnum is a pretty powerful round. Let's see. Small collection of Ruger #1 rifles. How many different calibers you got? Oh, right underneath there. 270, 223, 204. Love the 204 and 4570. I have not shot a 4570 yet, but I'm looking at a few different ones that I want to get. Funny thing about 22 mag ammo around here in Tennessee, the price hasn't gone up 40% like all the rest of the ammo calibers. You know, it's a lot of people don't seem to like a lot of the 22 Magnum. I mean, they're the bigger, slower cousin of the 22 long rifle. They're not necessarily slower than 22 rifle, but they're bigger. Not as fast as the 17 HMR. I love 22 Magnum. I got the CMR 30. I still want to get the PMR 30. I've got a Ruger Precision Rimfire in 22 Magnum. Absolutely love that thing. I shot a tack at 100 yards. I've shot some little quarter-inch groups with that thing at 100 yards. Fantastic gun. George Goldberg, hey bud, security guard from HTM. Really like the review. Keep it up. Thank you very much, George. I appreciate everybody that subscribes to my channel and watches my videos. Thank you. Let's see. Boomstick 779. I'm a 22 nut and have an impressive collection, but don't think the Mark 1 came up in a slab side. I could be wrong. I have to look it up. Me too. If not, I know they come with the shorter or the longer. I think 2 different lengths of the tapered barrels. And whatever they manufactured in the Mark 1, I'm going to try to get the same thing in 2, 3, and 4, just so it's a apples to apples comparison. Even the Granny Smith to Granny Smith apples comparison. Here we go. 223 Remington will do anything, and more of 204 will do. I don't think it'll go quite as fast, though. I don't know. I do like the 204, though. You can get an AR platform, too. It's screaming fast round. The Hornady Super Performance Varmints, I think, on the box, anyways, they claim 4,225 feet per second, and that is whistling. What's the best 1911 45 ACP you've shot? Unfortunately, I've only fired a couple different 1911s. I own a Cimarron, which when I bought it, I was comparing it to the Remington R1, and the Cimarron just felt a lot smoother, so I bought it. The only other 1911 I fired was a Taurus 1911. I did a video on that, and a Kimber 1911, but it was the shorter Commander model, I think it was. My sights on my Cimarron are, I mean, it's a A1, so it's the military, copy of the originals. The sights on it are terrible. The Taurus sights were a lot better, and the Kimber sights were a lot better. The Kimber did have a laser on it. I don't like using the laser. I don't know why. I just used to open sights, but those are the only 3 1911s I've ever fired, so I really couldn't tell you. I would like to get 2 Colts and do them up like the Punisher ones. I kind of got this plan to do guns like movie guns. I have the one copy, the Cimarron copy of the Russell Crowe one from 310 to Yuma, the Hand of God rig. I have the 1873 a copy of it that Clint Eastwood used in a couple of the Dollars trilogy movies, and there's more I want to get. Let's see. Is it safe to use 22 LR ammo in a 22 mag revolver? Only if you use the cylinder that's made for 22 LR. Don't swap them up. The case on a 22 Magnum is a little bit bigger than the case on a 22 long rifle. Has it been done before? Yes. Is it good? No. Just use the right cylinder for it. If you only have the 22 mag revolver, just use 22 mag in it. I don't use the wrong ammo in the wrong cylinder. Like my PMR 30 and the ball of fire it throws. Yes. Yeah, they're fun. Hey, what's up, Road Life 89? How's it going? Glad to see you could make it. 204 is fast. Absolutely fast. My Fox rounds are 40 grain nozzler ballistic tips doing just under 4,000. See, 4225 for the 204 though, but that will destroy a Fox. There's nothing left of it when you're going that fast, especially with the ballistic tips. Best 1911 45 ACP, a Para-Ordnance. I've heard good things about them. Turnbull 1911 45 ACP. I think everybody that manufactures firearms just about is manufactured 1911, in which I'm fine with that. I love 1911s. It's won 2 world wars, and the only reason it hasn't won a third is because there's only been 2. Road Life loaned me a really unique rifle. It was the Savage Model 25 with a 12 gauge and a 30-30. It's a combination 2-barrel gun, single shot. That is one of the coolest guns I've seen, and I have never seen another one like it. I've seen plenty of the 12 gauge 22s or the 20 gauge 22s, but that one is truly a neat gun. Turnbull. Yeah, I don't think I've Squidload asked Turnbull. I don't think I have seen a Turnbull 1911. There's a lot of guns I haven't seen. There's a lot of guns I've shot, but a lot of them I still haven't seen. Doug Turnbull, Bloomfield, New York. Is that a custom-made 1911 or very limited production, I guess? I've heard the Dan Wesson ones are really good too. I have a friend of mine that has a Dan Wesson 1911 38 Coonan, I think it is. And as soon as I can get back to him, I plan on doing a review on that gun. Yes. So I'm assuming it is a kind of a custom-made or limited production gun. Alter pistol, 9mm single shot. I was thinking of getting one just for fun. What do you think? I don't know. 9mm single shot. It's almost, to me, 9mm is made to be fired a lot and fast. That's why there are so many semi-autos with it. There are 9mm revolvers. Usually it's a moon clip that goes on it to hold them in the cylinder because the rim doesn't stick out to keep it from going through. But I don't know. I've never seen one. You'll have to send me a picture of it someday. Scar, have you heard of Consent Arms in North Carolina? I have not. Are they affordable? That might be why I've not heard of them. Shane, what's my favorite scopes? You know, I like Vortex, I really do, but recently I've been looking at a lot of the Cabela's brand scopes. I don't know who makes them. Most of the optics in any good scope are going to be made in Japan anyways. A lot of them are going to be assembled here. The Covenant brand scopes, the reason I kind of got hooked on those is because at the time when they come out with the first focal plane in the Covenant series, they were extremely inexpensive compared to a Vortex first focal plane. But now I've seen a Vortex, I think it was a Crossfire 2 recently that was about the same brand, same price as the Covenant, Cabela's Covenant series scope. And really, you cannot beat Vortex's warranty. They don't care what happened to it. If you bought it and it got destroyed, you send it back and it doesn't matter. It could have been burned in a house fire or whatever, run over with a tank. They don't care. Though if they can't fix it, they'll replace it. And most likely if it was burnt to a crisp, they're going to replace it. So you can't beat Vortex's warranty, I don't think. And they've got the whole range of prices from the pretty inexpensive to the extremely expensive. I've seen some $3,000 and $4,000. I think they're the Vortex AMD scopes, really expensive, really good. Even their low range, their low end scopes are really good. Leopold or Trijicon? You know what? I like Trijicon. I like the way they're built. I like their reliability, but I do not like their price. It's just out of my range, I guess, but I really like some Trijicon ones. Do I have any military surplus firearms? The only thing I've got is my Mosin Nagant. I have not done a video on it yet. No, but there are a few I'd like to get a hold of. I just haven't got into it yet. Haven't got around to it yet. He made custom rifles for Tom Selleck. That was, let me get over here, Turnbull made custom rifles for Tom Selleck. So they're not on the low end of the price scale. And Squib said, Cossaint Arms, expensive 1911s. Yeah, there's a lot of those. I'd like to see the ones that are, have you ever seen the ones that are made out of the meteorite? I think there's a pair of them. 1911s made out of a 3.5 million year old meteorite. Absolutely gorgeous guns. I'd like to take them out and shoot them. I don't care how much they cost. I just want to shoot one. Shane's got Vortex and Zeiss. Yes, Vortex are good. I have not used a Zeiss scope. Just haven't had the opportunity yet. One of the ones, the lower end scopes, Redfields. I bought one of those. It's the only scope I ever returned just because the parallax on it was terrible. If you moved your head just a little bit, everything in your optic shifted around like crazy. So, I mean, you had to be exactly precise where you put your cheek on that rifle to make sure that you got it there. If you were off just a little bit, everything was off. It's the only one I ever returned. Ruger number 1, Vortex scope, 1.75 to 5 by 32. I haven't done too much with any of the lower powered scopes. I think it makes it, even a 1 power scope makes it a lot easier to get on target and stay on target than it does open sights. They lift this travel bang, bring down some milsurps. Oh, that'd be a lot of fun. There is a guy that lives not too far from me. I met him at a car dealership. Of course, I had to throw him one of my cards to get him. He was a gun guy, and he's got a lot of military surplus stuff. And he gave me his card and said, give him a call whenever I wanted something. And I just haven't got around to doing it yet. Of course, that was back in January when I met him. So the weather's just now starting to get really nice out and makes it a lot more fun to get out and shoot outdoors. The older Cabela rifle scopes were very good. I have a full camo set up on a Remington 700 7mm .8, including a camo scope that's a real good shooter. For a while there, I went into Cabela's and I could not find any of their brand scopes, and the salesman told me that they were going to discontinue them and not honor the warranties. I just bought one for that Howa probably a month ago, 2 months ago, and it says right on the box it's got a full lifetime warranty on it, which is pretty nice. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not rough with any of my guns, so I don't plan on anything happening, but if it does, I mean, the accident's going to happen. You can drop it, bump it, whatever. But it's nice to see that salesman was wrong and they are available, and they do have a lifetime warranty on them. Some of them do, some of them don't. That's what I've been told. I don't like that Bass Pro bought out Cabela's. A lot of things had changed since that happened. You used to be able to go into Cabela's, go back to the gun library, pick up any gun you wanted pretty much, work the action on it, pull the trigger, see how it felt and everything. And I understand why they do some of the things they do, but you can't do that now. Or at least for a while you couldn't do that. Now they have a can there. If you want to feel the action on one, you have to put the end of that barrel in that can, and the salesperson has to keep their hand on the firearm while you pull the trigger. It's crazy, but at least now you can. I did buy my, I think it was my Savage or Stevens favorite 1915. I bought it from a Cabela's. They would not let me handle the gun without the lock on it, and I bought it anyways. I got it home, opened it up, and had a broke firing pin in it. They made it right. They gave me I think I paid $15 for a new firing pin for it, and they gave me like a $20, $25 little gift card and everything. So it worked out pretty good, but it would have been nice to know right then and there that it had a broke firing pin. Let's see. My shooting range for deer is 20 to about 100 yards, so 175 to 5 scope. Yep. That's 5 power at 100 yards if you can't hit a deer. There might be a couple of them out there looking at me right now. I don't know. I do see them come down here all the time to the saloon because it stays open, but I see deer tracks around here all the time. Just never get an opportunity to go out and do any hunting. Two-piece mounts or one-piece? Depends. Depends on what it's on. I did put a one-piece on the Howa. Well, I put a one-piece scope base on it, but it's got two-piece rings on it. I've got on my Ruger Precision Rimfire, the 22 Magnum, I've got a one-piece on there. It's the kind of cantilevered one where you can move it forward more than you need or reverse more than you need. I like those. It just depends on the firearm I'm putting it on. I have a Savage Model 12 that really that needs something because it's a top-loading internal box magazine on it, internal magazine. And really, there's not a lot of room to get your hands in there. So, I mean, it depends on the gun. Where you deer hunt, what's your typical shot? I don't know. I never get a chance to do it. Whenever it's deer season around here, I'm always somewhere else or too tired or whatever. But you can easily do, I mean, a lot of the guys that live around here, they hunt, they probably the same range that you're talking about, 20 to 100 yards is probably about the average on there. Here in Ohio, it's gotten a little more relaxed over the years. You can hunt with a lot of different calibers now. When I first moved here, I'm not from here originally, but when I first moved here, it was black powder, shotgun, or bow pretty much, or crossbow was just about it. And then things have changed a little bit. Now you can do pistol caliber, 38 caliber and larger for deer here in Ohio. So, I mean, it's changed. It's gotten a little better, I guess. But yeah, about the same thing, 20 to 150 here. One of the reasons they've limited, I guess, one of the reasons they've limited the calibers is because they say Ohio's so flat that the rounds will travel so far. Where I live in Ohio, it is extremely hilly. I mean, my property, if there wasn't a big hill in the back there where I had my target set up on the rifle range, I could go another probably 300 or 400 yards easily, but that big hill there is kind of in my way. So, I mean, it depends on the part of Ohio. When you get into Western Ohio, yeah, it's flat as a pancake. Hated the day, learned of the sale of Cabela's to Bass Pro. Yep. Yes, I read a little bit about the story of that, and it was dirty tactics, I think. I like Cabela's so much more than Bass Pro. And their prices were always quite a bit different. Cabela's usually had better prices, and I like the fact that they had the gun library where Bass Pro doesn't have anything like that. I don't think they deal in any used guns whatsoever. And really, I have seen some truly unique firearms going into the gun library at Cabela's. I like them. They still have it. I went a month or so ago, 2 months ago, and it's changed a lot with this whole COVID thing going on, but they still have the gun library, and I still like it. I made some pretty good deals in there, too, on some different firearms. Squid load, 50 to 115 yards in Lower Michigan, 45 ACP, 44 Special, and 44 Magnum. Now, I believe you can hunt with neck-down cartridges in Michigan, though, right? I don't think it's all straight-wall cartridge only or pistol caliber. At least it wasn't when I was a kid. I was actually born in Michigan. I didn't do any deer hunting there. I left there when I was very young. Parents made me go. I'd like to get out somewhere where, out west in Arizona and western Nebraska. I want to get out somewhere where I can do some groundhog hunting. Prairie dog hunting. I think that would be a lot of fun. Around here, it's groundhogs, and they're open season year round, except during deer rifle season. It's the only time they don't want you out groundhog hunting, but there aren't too many groundhogs out that time anyways. Same thing with coyotes. Now, they're out all the time, but you can't hunt them during deer gun season. Bass Pro sucks. A box of 9 on order and it's been delayed for 7 weeks. A box of 9mm ammo? Man, I hope that's sad. You should try reloading it. It's not economical, but it kills boredom on really crappy weather days. I've reloaded a bunch of it. And it's easy to reload too. It's one of those ones that it's easy to mess up on too, but it's easy to reload. I can reload it for about a penny less around than what I can buy it for. But if you include my time in it, yeah, I'm going broke. My area is southeastern Ohio. I'm more central eastern Ohio, but yep, right around there. Bottleneck cartridges above M46 or US 10 in Michigan. US 10. You mean like 10 caliber? Metric 46, US 10. Not sure what that means. Single box. Wow, man. Just go back in there and tell me you want your money back. You'll go to Cabela's. Nah, don't tell them that because same store. They don't care. They don't care if you go anywhere else. Anyways, that's the problem with some of the big box stores and stuff that, you can't, other than the gun library at Cabela's, you can wheel and deal in there a little bit. But the big box stores, they don't care if they lose 1 or 2 customers. The smaller stores will. There's a smaller shop I deal with here on firearms, and he tries to get me whatever it is I'm looking for, and he's extremely friendly. I go in there, not as often as I should, but I might go see him tomorrow because I think he's got one that I want. Do you reload, Darcy? Do you reload 9mm? That's one of those calibers that I have a progressive press, and I did a video on that too. Not so much about how to reload, but do you want to reload? And 9mm is one of those calibers that people are like, why do I want to reload that? It's pretty cheap anyways, and it is. But like I said, I mean, there's days here in Ohio where it's it's 2 below outside and snowing, and or 30 degrees and raining, and it's just there's no fun outside. So I sit in my little dungeon and crank out some rounds every now and then. 1950 Marlin 336 3030. That has got to be one of the most popular lever action rifles, and I do not have one yet. I do want to get one. There's a couple other, I want an 1866 lever action, mostly because that's what was used in I think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and they removed the forend on it to make it look kind of like a 1860 Henry. But I want to get one of those, and I do want to get the 336 because they got to be doing something right if it's been around as long as it has and it's still popular. It's one of those calibers that in Ohio I can't use for deer hunting. The only thing I can do with it is groundhogs, coyotes, and target, pretty much. But it's just a fun gun, I think. Anyways, I don't know. I haven't gotten one yet. My deer hunting northeast Nebraska this year, depending on COVID. I have spent a little time in Nebraska around Lincoln, a little town called Beatrice. Got my way up to Omaha a couple times. There's a big Cabela's up there. Bought a couple while I was up there too. Built a couple while I was there. Kind of like Nebraska. It's parts of it are really pretty. Hey, thumbs up, fellow tin can killer like me. Yep. That's about the only thing I really get to kill around here. I'm never around during the good seasons, anyways. But love to shoot some tin cans and some paper and water bottles and all that kind of good stuff. Several calibers. Yeah, you might be better off just to go ahead and load you up some 9mm. They probably still got bullets and powder and primers and everything in the store, even though they don't have the finished ammo in there. And like I said, if it's late at night, it's crappy weather, whatever, get out and load a few rounds. I only load a couple calibers. I've got dies to do a few others, but the only one I really load that I save any money on is 17 Hornet. The little tiny bullet there, when you buy a box of those, you pay about $1 a shot for those, and I can reload them for about 25 cents, which is still kind of high, but it's one that I reload to save a little bit of money on. Even if I don't buy everything on sale, I still save a little bit of money on it. Now, I probably, depending on how deep into this Howa 1500 I get, I may start reloading some of the 6.5 Creedmoor just for accuracy. The roads, not the calibers. Bottleneck cartridges for deer hunting Michigan north of Michigan Highway 46 or US Highway 10. Everybody else says, US 10 or whatever. Michigan is, M25. Yeah. Yep. I remember that now. It's been a while since I've been up there, but I was thinking you were talking calibers for some reason. That had me confused. Have I tried out the 350 Legend cartridge? Yes, I have. When this is over, I got a video on there where I did one. It was a Mossberg Patriot in 350 Legend. That was also a loaner gun. And it's a really light gun, and I had it in my little Caldwell Matrix sled, and it really jumped around a lot. I think I'd have done a lot better with it on sandbags. But the owner of the gun, he bought it, painted it up, put it together and everything, let me borrow it. He sighted it in, let me borrow it. And then when I was done with it and I returned it to him, he actually went out and got a deer with it. So, it works, and it's a legal caliber in Ohio for deer hunting. LC, I have a 1948, 49, 50, 52, 53 Marlin 336 waffle top 3030s. They are fun. Wow, that's a slew of them. 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. 5 336s. You gotta sell me one. No, I can't talk about selling guns or buying guns on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Yeah, I will pick one up someday. It probably won't be one of the older ones unless I get to a shop that has some of the older ones in there. Use the 1950 for hunting. The rest of them are safe queens. I'd like to have some safe queens. Darcy Edu 380. That's another one that's probably would save a little bit of money on sometimes. 9mm 45 ACP. I have the dies for 45, 44 Magnum. I have 223. I've done a few of those. I do not own a 30-30 yet. I need to get one though. I've done 38 and 357s. Let's see. Boomstick. The 350 Legend is another question that no one has asked. Somebody just asked it a minute ago. What's the question? I don't know if I know the answer, but that is one that if you get into the really technical aspects of it, it should not be legal for deer hunting because of like 1/1000th or 2/1000th of an inch or something like that. But it passed. It is legal for deer hunting in Ohio. Bass Pro only sells primers by the pack for $5 per 100. I used to get 1,000 packs of bells. Yes, there was another store I went to somewhere. I can't remember where it was. It might have been like Academy Sports or something like that. That also did the same thing. They would only sell. I mean, they come in a big box with 1,000 in there, but no, you can only buy one at a time, 100-round pack at a time, which I thought was completely ridiculous. I don't know why they do it, but. Thank you, Stephen. Glad to have you here. Let's see. LCC said, yes, the rest of them are safe queens. You know what? I went to a shop a long time ago and they had I think it was a 4-pistol set of 1911s. It was in one nice, beautiful wooden box, and it was like a World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam set of 1911s. It was like $22,000 or $25,000 for the whole thing, and I thought, I can't buy that. Of course, I can't buy it because of the price, but I can't buy it because I would take it out of the box and I would shoot each one of them. knowing they shoot like just about every other 1911 out there, but if you have a gun, you have to shoot it. It's my philosophy, anyways. I also went to the Cabela's in Wheeling a month or so ago, and they had 2 Schofields in there. Nice engraved, I can't remember what edition they were, but gold inlays and the engraving and everything. Really beautiful guns. Zip ties around them, so they have never been opened. They have never been chambered. They've never probably been taken out of the box with white gloves and looked at. And I thought, man, I'd really like to have those, but I'm going to take them out and shoot them. And I really want 2 Schofields because I want to do, like I said, I want to do the movie gun thing, and I want to do the ones that in 310 to Yuma, I can't remember his name. Charlie Prince was Russell Crowe's sidekick in there, and he had 2 Schofields. And I do a little bit of leather work too, so I want to do the holsters, I want to do the jacket, the chaps, the whole 9 yards, just like his outfit was. And I want the 2 Schofields. I got 2 hands. I might as well have 2 guns for it, huh? Like Doc said, I have 2 pistols, 2 guns, 1 for each of you. Let's see. Scar, there are calibers that have been created that no one wants. The question no one asked: 357 SIG, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 Gap, and 350 Legend. Yeah, you know, I fired a 350 Legend, and it has a purpose in like 18 states, and that's what's going to help that round out the most, I guess, because it's a small enough caliber that's easy on people when they want to go deer hunting, younger shooters, female shooters, smaller shooters, whatever. And so that one I think will maybe last for a while. The 357 SIG, I've never met anybody that has one. 40 Smith & Wesson, I've met a lot of people that have those and swear by them, but I think 40 is dying. And the 45 Gap, I know, I've seen a box of them on a shelf. I know nothing about them. But yeah, you are correct. There are calibers that no one wants. I don't know about the 40. The 350 Legend may survive a little while. I hope it does anyways. It is a good caliber for deer hunting, like, you know, inside 100 yards and closer. The recoil's manageable. It's not going to scare too many people off. When you get into the, you know, a 4570 or a Marlin 444 for deer hunting, you can use those in Ohio. That's a bigger boom. That's a lot more kick to it. And some of the younger, smaller shooters aren't quite going to want to do any of those. But I think the 350 Legend will stick around. I hope it does anyways. It's a pretty cool round. I have leather holsters for all my pistols and revolvers. I don't care much if I prefer them over the composite or whatever the material is. I like leather. I got started in leather by doing the YouTube channel. I got introduced to cowboy action shooting by a friend of mine who said a retired school teacher we had together shot the cowboy action shooting. So I started talking to him, and he was telling me about all the required gear for cowboy action shooting, which is a lot. And I was looking for a holster, and I seen one that I liked. It had Python inlays in it and everything. I thought, man, that's a beautiful holster. It was $1,200. I'm not spending $1,200 on a holster. I'll spend $2,000 on the materials to make a $1,200 holster, but I'm not spending that much money on the holster itself. Plus, I picked up another hobby that I needed, and you know, it's fun. I actually worked on a holster today for my wife's little, I got a little heritage revolver, and I hope she likes it. She hadn't seen it yet. She hadn't said anything about it anyways yet. I still got a dye and everything, but I like leather. I like leather holsters. I like leather everything. Anything made out of leather's got to be good. And then the insides of the leather, the cow, it's good too, you know. Let's see. Boomstick, the 350 Legend is supposed to be comparable to the 30-30, so Ohio should let. I agree. We should be able to use a 30-30. It's a good brush gun, good deer gun. It's been a deer gun forever. It's been around forever. And I think Ohio should be able to use that. Maybe next year we'll push it. Somebody will push it. I never get to hunt, so I never get to push it anyways. Henry X and 357. What is the Henry X? I'm not sure what the Henry X is. I've seen a bunch of different Henrys here lately. The 410 they've got. I've seen the little short ones and everything. 357. I like 357. I have a Rossi R92. I have not done a video on it yet, but it's in 357, 38 357. Same thing on my Ruger Vaqueros. Haven't done a video on those yet either. But they are also 38 357. Mostly because I got those for cowboy action shooting, and 38's a lot cheaper than 4570 or 45 Colts, 4570, 45 Colts. So that's why I got those. But now that I'm reloading, I can reload 45 Colt. Hopefully as cheap as what I can get 38s for, maybe. Squib said, Darcy, you won't be disappointed by the Henry. I have to go out and find one so I can do a review and then go buy that, see if you're disappointed or not. Less wear and tear on the firearm with the leather holster. I have a few, the Kydex holsters, the plastic ones. Yeah, they are kind of hard. And some of the edges on some of them could be a little jagged too. So the only thing, all the holsters I've made for my revolvers, I cut out around the trigger. I do not cover the trigger up with the leather because I read a story a long time ago about a guy that had a leather holster that he carried all the time, and the leather over time had gotten soft and flexible and everything, and when he went to holster it, the leather actually pushed in on the trigger and he shot himself in the leg while holstering the gun. I'm sure it was not a revolver. That would take a lot of force to do that, but so I always leave the triggers open on them. I don't cover them, but yeah, leather, I like leather, and it's softer inside, so I agree. It's probably less wear and tear on the gun and the finish of the gun and everything. Lever guns. I don't even think I own a lever gun. Lever gun. I did buy my oldest daughter a Henry Golden Boy Youth in 22, and yes, I do. I own the Rossi R92. I do own a lever gun. And that gun I did slick up quite a bit, and hopefully I can do some really rapid shooting with it. But that's the only lever guns I got an experience with. I need to do a, like I said, an 1866 earlier. I want to get an 1866, even a copy of it. But a Nate squared for my Glock 32C. I'm assuming that is a Kydex type holster, or is it a leather holster? Not sure. Henry X is a Henry big boy with a pick rail and sling swivels. Ah, synthetic stock, 1 pound lighter than a big boy. I got you. Side load, side and tube load, does both. That's pretty cool. So you can pull the end of the tube out and drop the rounds in, or you can feed it through the gate on the side. That's a pretty cool feature. A lot of people don't like the Henrys or any of the tube fed because there's a chance of you getting your hand in front of the muzzle while you're loading it. If it's unloaded, there's nothing in the chamber, you're probably not going to have a problem with it. I find myself a lot of times in my Marlin Model 60, my hand covers the muzzle on it. And yes, I should be more aware of that. But I am also aware of the fact that there is nothing in the chamber when I'm doing that. My Stevens Model 70 visible loader, same thing. It's a pump action 22 tube fed magazine on it. LC's got a Henry 410 lever action shotgun. I'd like to get one of those. Samsky is a leather holster for his Glock 32C. Henry rifles are worth the cost. You know what? They're made here in America. It's funny, they're made in New Jersey, which is kind of a anti-gun state, I guess. But yeah, I like Henrys. A lot of people that do cowboy action shooting don't use the Henrys. They say, and I don't know this for a fact, but they say you can actually outrun a Henry, if you're really fast. But for me, the cowboy action shooting thing is kind of I'm going there to BS with the guys most of the time, and then I get every now and then I get to go up and shoot. So I don't care if I outrun it or not, really. A JM stamped Marlin 1894 is a good rifle. I like the 44 mag. The JM, that's not Jerry Mitchell, is it? I did see, I was looking on Arms List today, and I seen somebody had a couple of them on there, or there were a couple of them that were on there that were stamped JM. I'm not sure what the JM is for, though. You can clarify that for me. Then when I get one, I can do the review and I can explain what the JM is for. Maybe. All right, guys, it is 10:34 here where I'm at. It is completely dark outside, and I think I'm going to get off of here and let you guys get some sleep, and I'm going to go get some sleep too. And tomorrow's another day. It's supposed to be nice weather out. JM is for sure pre-Remington. Oh, yeah, Remington did buy Marlin. I did know that. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but they're still around anyways. .44 Magnum is a great cartridge. I like .44. One of the first big guns I ever fired when I was a kid was a .44 Ruger Blackhawk that my dad had with a, and at the time it was like a 3-foot barrel on this thing, and I was about 10 years old, but it was probably more like a 8 or 10-inch barrel on it. But I love that thing. Man, you talk about a kick to it. The only .44 Magnum I have right now is my Taurus M44, which is still a really good shooting gun. I did recently make a holster for that. Pretty cool gun. I like .44s. Go back and forth between these things. Great stream. Thanks, Darcy. I appreciate you coming by and checking it out. Yeah, it's been fun. This is my first live stream. I didn't announce it or anything, so you guys all just kind of popped on here without any notification. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for swinging by and checking it out and having a little conversation here. Thanks a lot, Darcy. Squib, later, Scar. Caliber Corner tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Travis P11 channel. I'll have to check it out. By 9 a.m., hopefully I will already be outside, though, so I don't know. Squibload, I agree. LC, thanks for your time. Good conversation. Thank you, LC, for swinging by. I appreciate all you guys stopping by and checking us out, man. Thanks. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You guys all have a good night, and hopefully I'll do another video this weekend. I did release my last one a little bit early. Try to do like Saturday morning-ish because I know a lot of Santee guys are on here, and they watch some of my stuff too. So hopefully I'll do one maybe Sunday evening. There's a couple things I want to do. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. I'll see you on down the trail.